Hi, a new update has been added to BigPicture, and it's finally the one that is worth talking about, not like the last few ones when we had just small enhancements, small upgrades, bug fixes. This one is actually quite interesting, and I'm sure you don't want to miss it. Before I get into this though, I want to mention that this video is part of our effort to deliver high quality training and learning materials for you guys from the Atlassian ecosystem. And if you want to support this, consider subscribing to the channel, liking the video, maybe towards the end of it when you actually feel that it was valuable and the time well spent. And also, please remember that we do offer paid services, professional services in this area. Now, let's talk about the update. I really like this one because especially one thing in this update is something that I was waiting for a long time. And that's not the first one. So the first one I want to mention is that BigPicture added a new field that you can show on the level of column views over here in the Gantt, in the scope module, and in other places as well where the fields are available. And this field is called a sub box. What does it give you? Well, it gives you the information of which box the issue that you're displaying over here, so my epics, stories, tasks, which box they are coming from. All right, so that's kind of useful, right? You can watch the list over here and you can kind of understand, okay, all of those are coming from my self-driving storage robot. All of the others, when I collapse them, are coming from XYZ Energy Global Plan, right? But the true possibilities that come with this upgrade is that now you can group by this field. So now because we have this field, we can go to group tasks and we can say, hey, I want to group by the sub boxes and hit apply. And the screen is going to rearrange things so that you get the grouping of everything that belongs to my self-driving storage robot. And then if I scroll down, you will see that I have another grouping element that groups everything under my XYZ Energy Global Plan. So because of this, you can apply the grouping and slice your view on the Gantt, for example, in a completely different way. Now, in my program over here, the way it has been scheduled so far, or maybe the way it has been designed so far, it doesn't really impact anything. What's more, I could even say that it makes it worse. Two things I want to mention over here. One, not that big of a deal. So it says unnamed over here. I'm sure that's a bug because I'm sure that the name of the box should appear over here and then that's going to be fixed. But a worst thing is that notice here that there is no hierarchy anymore. My epics don't have children. It got flattened. And that's basically what happens in the grouping functionality when you enable the grouping. It flattens the previously existing hierarchy because it usually reshuffles things in a way that it doesn't make sense to show this hierarchy anymore. And that's okay, right? But in this case, when I'm grouping by the boxes, I would actually like to have the hierarchy because I think it does make sense over here and I'm missing that. So that's why I'm not a big fan of having it over here done like this. I would probably still do it the quote old-fashioned way because then I get this possibility of collapsing, expanding my plan exactly the way I want it to be. So I still think that this is more useful. But I'll show you another example. Let's go to this area. And this area is the plan that I've used in one of the previous videos. It's basically divided when it comes to box structure by months. So you can see boxes over here that basically represent months. And if I apply the same kind of grouping, you can see that my sub box is available here as well. You can see that I can expand this and some items are available in several different months. So if I go over here and I enable the grouping for sub boxes on the level of this one, it actually gives me a little bit of a better result. Again, I don't have any values on over here. It says unnamed, so that's something that needs to be fixed. But other than that, it gives me basically the grouping of my elements per sub box, which in this case mean per month, for example, or it could be an iteration, or it could be a sprint. So that maybe is a bit more useful. Although if you have been doing it by sprints, there is another way to do it. already existing before this update, so not that bad. To sum it up, it's cool that new stuff is coming. I don't really feel that this one is going to be impacting the work that we do for our customers severely. Maybe not at all in many cases, because there are solutions that allow you to do the same thing, or there were solutions that allow you to do the same thing in the previous versions. And I would even, I guess, say that the other solutions may be even better in some cases. So yeah, something new, but not super exciting. But the other one is, so let me disable the grouping over here. Let's go back to the normal view, and I'll show you what's the other stuff. Where do I want to show it? I think I'll go back to the program global view that I have over here, which groups my 2 projects underneath it. And I'm going to say over here in my filters, I have several filters defined over here, and I'm going to use the one that says show me just initiatives and epics. So I'm going to do that. And that narrows down the view to only this icon, which is my initiative, and then the epics, a very familiar icon, right? So that's what we use sometimes to make a little bit of a clearer view over here. But what if you create a filter that shows you some subset of data over here, but then you're like, okay, I want to go underneath this epic to see what's inside, but you don't have access to it, and you have to re-enable everything, right? Well, the new feature, show all children tasks in results, is actually fixing this. So if I do this, all of the elements that belong to my filter will be visible, plus all of the children of those elements. So again, in my example over here, it doesn't really give me anything new, but check this out. Let's say let's disable the previous filter. Let's disable the previous filter. Nothing will change really, right? And now let's say over here that I want to say issue key equals, and let's pick one of the epics. So we will go skp to -30. Let's use this one, right? It gives me only this epic according to the JQL that I've enabled over here. But because of this checkbox, now I can also see all the children of that epic. And I don't have to create a complicated JQL that sometimes we had to involve script runner because standard Jira didn't allow you to pull in some of the stuff. Now it's here. And that is a game changer for many users in terms of usability and usefulness of filtering over here. It's going to become a lot easier to use, and that is brilliant. I love this feature. This is something I have been waiting for a long time. Moving on, the rest of the stuff is not going to be that impressive, but if I go to a portfolio view and I go to the resources module in the portfolio view, now in the portfolio view, you will have filtering available to you over here with quick filters and standard search. So previously it wasn't available in the resources module on the portfolio view that is aggregated only. Now it will be here. So that's one thing when it comes to resources. Second thing that I want to show you on the level of resources, let me again change the box and let's go to self-driving storage robot for a moment. Here you will see that you can now display the sub boxes. Let me hide the panel on the right. You can now display all the sub boxes on the timeline over here, so that if you look at the hierarchy that I have under this, I have program increments, 2 of them. My first program increment has several iterations, and that's exactly what you will be able to see over here, right? There is program increment 1. I can see from when to when it's scheduled. Then I have iterations underneath that. Program increment 2, you can see that the rest of iterations are currently missing, but you basically get the view of how the tasks that you have down here contribute to the iterations that I have up here. In my case, it's not very impressive because I have lots of tasks spanning across multiple iterations. That's probably not great, but that's just a demo environment. I have a lot of noise over here, so that's why it is like this. As a secondary example, let me show you the XYZ Energy Global Plan, which has the monthly planning, right? And if I zoom out over here, to also half a year, you will see that I get those months here as well, right? March, April, May, June, July, August, and so on. And I can again see all the items belonging to those months. I can enable the tasks because they were hidden, and voila, there you go. And in this case, you will actually see that some of the tasks overlap the months exactly, right? Like these two, for example, over here, like these over here, they are adjusted to the months, because that's also something that you can do in BigPicture, that when you plan something for a specific time period, it automatically stretches its duration for the whole time period, which is one of my favorite functionalities really when you're doing the planning. If you want to explore more, reach out to us. We can always help you out, either train you in this tool or help you with the implementation process. What's next? Well, last two small things is that when you go to the teams, now creating teams is slightly more easy. So you provide the name of the team, Tom's Super Team, and you can see that it gives me the team code by the first letters of what I've entered over here. If it would be just one word, it will give me the team code based on this one word only. So it kind of suggests the team code to you, and of course you can change it and to replace it with anything else. If you don't know why team codes are important, you should. And the last thing that I'm not even going to show because it's all over the place, but BigPicture added several tool tips that help you understand some of the functionalities that are here in the tool. So again, a good step forward in terms of helping users use the tool in a more effective, easier way as well. That's it. I really like this update, especially for this one feature. And I know that some even more interesting features are coming in the future updates. This gets me really excited. And I'm really happy to see that the team is going strong and the tool is growing in the right direction, taking the right steps forward, implementing the right functionalities that are actually helpful in the planning and execution process of every project portfolio program management. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully this has been helpful. If it was, consider subscribing, liking the video. If you have any questions, post a comment underneath this. We will do our best to answer it. And that's it. Thanks, and I'll be seeing you in one of the next videos.